Pittsburgh Steeler fans, KnoItAllz fans, KnoItAllz Nation, thanks for tapping in with your boy Tate from the KnoItAllz for a Wednesday 12 o'clock episode of Strong Take. So what we're going to do today is just talk about really, we're going to get into, not on this show, but tonight, let's just say tap in and smash your gas. Me and Big G will be on at 7:15. The homie Curb is away on vacation, so he won't be with us this evening. But yeah, so that's at 7:15. Be sure to tap in for that. Smash the gas. At 8:05, we'll be on the KnoItAllz channel also, but we'll also be on Steel Curtain Network. Tap in to one of them and check us out with the triple OG homie Shannon White. And special guest, Dave Stefano from Fans First Sports Network, First and Skull, Minnesota Viking podcast. We're really going to talk about the game this evening on both those shows. We got the homies Friday, the KnoItAllz Sunday. Be sure to tap in and check everything out. Greatly appreciate it. Certainly appreciate each and every one of you. Here's to tonight. Pump your brakes. At 8:05, get out there with us and pump your brakes. So yeah, moving on. Let's get into it. If you got any questions about anything, just in the comments, just tap in. Let us know. I know it's lunchtime. There's a whole bunch of us here. G Stacks in the building. Shout out, G. What's up with you, man? Thanks for rocking with us. What up, Corey B in the building? Appreciate you. You guys be sure to tap in tonight, though, man. The expectation ain't that huge here at lunchtime. Just checking in to go ahead and, we're trying to do more shows, get more content up. A lunch break is the time to try and do that, so that's what we're doing here. Talking about something a little lighthearted, something we all have opinions on. If you have your opinions and you watching, put them in the comments. Definitely appreciate it. But we're going to talk about the Steelers' Mount Rushmore. That's a tough thing to talk about, man. A lot of varying opinions, a lot of different things. We're talking about a franchise with 32 Hall of Famers and probably 3 or 4 more to come in the next few years. I mean, we probably have what? We know Ben Roethlisberger. I think Cam Hayward's a Hall of Famer. TJ Watt's a Hall of Famer. Marquise Pouncey's a Hall of Famer. AB? Meh. Could be, though. Could be. Terrell Owens finally made it, so we'll talk about it. So if you're looking at the graphic right now, on the right side is the Steelers' Mount Rushmore, I believe is, voted by Bleacher Report of up into the 2000s. You got Chuck Noll, you got Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, and of course, Mean Joe Green. If I was putting those 4 in order, first face I would have up there, I believe, is it George Washington's the first face in the actual Mount Rushmore? But I would have Mean Joe Green. He's the Steelers' founding father. I mean, well, we know the chief down in the middle. Art Sr. is the chief. But as far as on the football field, Mean Joe Green started this thing, right? So I would have it Mean Joe Green, Chuck Noll, Franco Harris, and Terry Bradshaw. And on the outside looking in from that time frame, if you look, and it can be more mentioned. This is just the ones that we have pictured. Scout, NFL Scout, Bill Nunn could be on here. He helped build those 70 Steel Curtain team. Jack Lambert. We all know what Jack Lambert means to the franchise. Mel Blount. Mel Blount's one of the greatest corners in NFL history. He doesn't get credit because the passing game wasn't then what it is now. And they made rules for Mel Blount, so he couldn't do some different things. So I think we have to take all that in consideration. It's like 6'3", 230 pounds, just a beast of a man. They say he's still in incredible shape and still can do a lot of the stuff at 75 years old. He's in much better shape for a 75-year-old than the average 75-year-old. We got the head of everything, the chief, Art Rooney Sr. right there, bottom middle. Then going to the right of him, we got Lynn Swann, Jack Lambert, and John Stallworth. Shout out to Curb. It's Curb's cousin, John Stallworth, if y'all didn't know. John Stallworth is Kirby's first cousin. Afton in the building. Shout out Afton. Certainly appreciate you for chapping in. Afton, we got a surprise for everybody coming up soon, so appreciate you. I've been talking to Big G. I know what you guys up to. Reg Rivers, 901, homie in the building. Shout out Reg. What's up with you, man? Just Wednesday afternoon, hanging out, kicking it here actually with my dogs, man. Harlem and Bronx, my friends Bulldogs. They right here all around me. They don't leave me. So if they hear the smallest noise, you might hear them bark. I'll try and push mute. Not get myself fined, but I'm doing this by myself. So if I get fined, I don't have to find myself. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, man. So those guys are on the pre-2000s 70s team, Mount Rushmore. So if we were to revisit this, Steeler G213, FJ3000. Thanks for tapping in. Who's up to shenanigans, Afton? Let me know. I think because that's the 70s Steel Curtain team, right? But let's think about some of those Steelers post Steel Curtain, but pre-2000s. Does anybody make it from that era? They weren't necessarily the best in the 80s. Chuck Noll was still there in the 80s, obviously. He had already submitted his resume from what he did in the 70s. Lynn Swann retired early 80s. John Stallworth probably got out that thing in like the mid 86, 87. He played longer than Lynn Swann, but he's already on there from the 70s. I'm trying to think of the decade of the 80s. Who would we say? Corey Brown, definitely. That's my boy. All-time favorite Steeler. The helmet right behind me up there is an autographed Rod Woodson helmet. My favorite Steeler all time. I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, then Lima, Ohio to the west, right not far from the Indiana border. So was Fort Wayne in Indiana. Rod was from Fort Wayne, not far from me back then. And I've always been, even when he was at Purdue, I was a fan of Rod Woodson, my guy. But, man, so is there anybody outside of Rod Woodson that we say from the 80s? And Rod was drafted, I believe, in 87. He carries well into the 90s as far as what he did. But from, say, 81 to 1990, outside of Rod Woodson, we've already mentioned guys from the Steel Curtain team. Is there any guy whose main decade was in the 80s that we would put on this list? I mean, the quarterback was, at that time, we ran through a plethora of quarterbacks at that time. Obviously, Bubby Brister. It was a year we had David Woolley, was really good with the Miami Dolphins, but when Dan Marino got there, he got booted out of there. David Woolley took the Dolphins to a Super Bowl when they got beat by the Miami Dolphins in the mid-'80s. Because remember, Dan Marino never made it to a Super Bowl. But we said Bubby Brister, Mark Malone. Trying to think of the quarterbacks. The running backs, I remember Walter Abercrombie. Like, I mean, the 80s was like Louis Lips. Hey, thanks, CB. Louis Lips is a good one, man. But when you consider the history of the Steelers wide receivers, right? We talking 1, 2, Stallworth, Swan Hall of Famers. We know about AB, Hines Ward. A lot of guys done work. I think Lewis Lips is one of the best players because of a lack of talent from the 80s. Definitely one of the best players of that time. And you did preface it with maybe Lewis Lips. So, yeah, let's put that up. CB says maybe Lewis Lips. Mike Big Pun, Mike Merriweather was good too. Linebacker. And again, one of the best players of the 80s, completely 100% wholehearted agree. But when we prefacing this, we talking about the Mount Rushmore, right? We're not just talking about, the best of the 80s. I mean, I think he was one of the best of the 80s because the 80s were weak, right? He doesn't hold a candle to any of those other guys that came later. They, not Ham, not Lambert of the 70s, not Lloyd, not Green, not none of those guys in the 90s. Even Chad Brown and Levon Kirkland, those guys are way better than Merriweather. But of the 80s, you're completely, absolutely right about that. That's a fact. The fact, Jack. So yeah, we have to give you credit on that one. But yeah, man. So I can't think of too many guys from the 80s, man, that would even make the list. So we mentioned Lewis Lips, we mentioned Mike Merriweather. Rod Woodson's definitely on the list. He was drafted in 87. But I think his best years were in the 90s. So let's transition to the 90s, shall we? I think let me go back to the graphic. We go back to the graphic. None of the players listed or shown outside of Rod Woodson. Maybe late 90s, 98-ish, 99-ish, Jerome Bettis, but Jerome Bettis made most of his hay right there in the late 90s up into the 2000s. He could arguably be part of that 2000s list. Nah, he probably can't. I don't know. But so the 90s, we got Rod Woodson. Barry Foster was good. Neil O'Donnell, if he had not gave that Super Bowl away, he would be mentioned by the mere fact that he would be the third quarterback in franchise history to win a Super Bowl. Well, he would be one of three. Ben would have came later and been the third. But there would be an argument for Neil O'Donnell. Neil O'Donnell was with the Steelers, played well, got paid, choked in the Super Bowl, gave that away. I liked Yancey Thigpen while he was with the Steelers in the 90s, but nothing really to write home about as far as the Steeler career. Had a few good years in the 90s, but he wasn't that dude. Oh, okay. Red say Barry Foster. Steeler G213 say Eric Green. Eric Green was a beast. So was Barry Foster. But if we rank and talk of Mount Rushmore now, and for the 90s, Barry Foster is probably the best. The little 2-3 years he had in Pittsburgh. But will we put him up there with Franco? Will we put him up there with Bussy? Will we put him up there with LB? I think not. He had a great year. But so we talking Mount Rushmore. When we talk Mount Rushmore again, you probably got to be top 3 or 4 at your position in a franchise historic history. Oh, Big G in the building. Shout out to the homie Big G, fella know-it-all. Salute to you, Big G. And we got some stuff to talk about, Big G. I know you out here in these Steelers streets being diabolical right now as we speak. Already know it. I don't know for a fact. I just know it to be true because I know you. But yeah, man, that's a good one, though. Carnell Lake was a beast. Big pun. Following up on his boy Big G. I don't know, man. Is y'all like, drinking the same beer? I don't know. Communicate with each other. But Carnell Lake is a good one. But Is Carnell Lake? I'm just asking. I'm not saying it is or isn't. Is Carnell Lake better than we got Mel Blunt? We got Rod Woodson at your corners. Carnell Lake played corner and safety. Is Carnell Lake a better corner than Ike Taylor was? Meh, don't think so. Was Carnell Lake a better safety than Troy Palomala, and Donnie Shell? Don't think so. And we talking Mount Rushmore, but you know what? I like Carnell Lake. He was a versatile piece. He was really good. So, oh man, 213. Good for a few years. G Stack. Tunch Ilkin? RIP to the homie Tunch. But nah, man. Yeah, we said Donnie Shell, right? I just mentioned him. But Donnie Shell don't even make it from that 70s team. Too many great players. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. See, we got Hall of Famers that get left off the discussion of franchise Mount Rushmore. That's how deep this thing go, man. No Diddy to myself. But that's how tough this thing is to assess. It's really about who you Big Pun said Joel Steve. Man, in a franchise built on defensive line we talking about. So the whole steel curtain, the White, Mean Joe Green, Ernie Holmes. Ernie Holmes? Help me out, somebody. Ernie Holmes was a boxer. Who am I talking about? But nah, man, not Joel Steve. Casey Hampton, Cam Hayward, even Brett Keys on Aaron Smith, I think, was more valuable than Joel Steve. But he's a name. He's just because you a Steeler legend. Shout out to you. You was a beast in this organization. We talking Mount Rushmore. I mean, Joel Steve better not even step his foot on that hill, on the base of the mountain, let alone talk about climbing it. You know what I mean? But so far from the 90s, we got Rod Woodson, late 80s, 90s. Barry Foster. He can be on the mountain, down around the base of the mountain, but he ain't coming up too far. But he can be on there. I said Yancey Thigpen, but I don't think he's deserving. Mike Webster is a good one. Reg, that's going back to the 70s, those teams. Obviously, straight beast. We know that. And he all up on the mountain. He one of them ones that say, hey, get your face off there, put my face up there. He one of them Steelers. But does he displace anybody? Does he displace Noel, Bradshaw, Mean Joe Green, Franco? He might be next up, but then you got Lambert too, and Ham. See, it's tough. It's tough. Oh yeah, good one, Pun deep in his bag, man. I was slipping on DeMonte Dawson. Definitely a good one. He's all up on the mountain too. Him and all the centers probably all right. Webster, DeMonte Dawson, they probably like hiking that thing together. Like, man, let's get up here and knock some of these jokers off. Like we used to do these nose tackles and defensive tackles. You know what I mean? Probably something like that out here in these Steeler streets. But yeah, DeMonte Dawson, definitely a great one. Thanks, Pun. You say a lot of diabolical matrix worthy stuff, but sometimes, man, like Big G say about himself, a broke clock be right twice a day. So it's one time a day, Pun. Say the next one for the night. Don't smash the gas and pump your brakes. Say your next right thing you do for the day. Right thing you say. It's 12:20. You got to hold it about 7 hours, Pun. Don't say nothing crazy. Alan Faneca, when we get 2000s, he definitely all up on the mountain. Oh, Greg Lloyd. I mentioned Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green in the 90s already. But it's Greg Lloyd. Wasn't better than Kevin Green. All-time Steeler, definitely. Is he better than Debo? Is he better than Joey Porter? Is he better than TJ? I mean, when we get to edge and outside linebacker, we already know. Yeah, pun. If you wherever you at right now, if you at the crib, just keep to yourself. You at work, don't talk to nobody, man. The rest of that afternoon, just be quiet because say whatever you got to say that's gonna be legitimate for the night, man. We love to hear it. Thanks for rocking with us, bro. But so 90s. Woodson, Barry Foster gonna be at the base. I don't think Yancey Thigpen is close. I like him. He's one of my Steelers, but I mean he wasn't good enough. Bussy is 90s, 2000s. Dawson, definitely. He all up on it, like I said, with Mike Webster. No quarterback. Cordell to me is better than Neil O'Donnell. I'll just say that. Neither one of them stepping a toe on the mountain, but Chad Brown's a real good one. But again, linebacker, Steelers, Chad Brown name don't come to mind. You know what I mean? Levon Kirkland do. Chad Brown, like Kirkland, Lloyd, Green, linebackers from that era. Chad Brown was a beast, though. Not taking nothing away from Chad. Pun say, Big G in the house and you don't stop. No, Val Ford said that. Yeah, I mean, you right about that G213, but we ain't made it to the 2000s. Yeah, we have to jump to the 2000s. You guys, if we get to the 2000s, Ferrier was a beast. Ferrier was 2000s. But again, was Ferrier better than Kirkland? Not better than Lambert. We're talking just the middle. He might be up there for the middle, though. We're talking about Lambert. We're talking about Kirkland. He might be the third best middle ILB. I got to agree with Reds as of right now. I mean, far as being a Steeler, right? I mean, we've had career-wise, Aaron Rodgers now, Russell Wilson now. We've had some guys. We've had Michael Vick in there. Guys by name only, didn't play long. I think Mike Vick played 1 or 2 years. But, yeah, they're not Steelers. So, Cordell Stewart, to me, is the third best franchise QB, right? I mean, he's better than Kenny Pickett. I mean, it goes Ben, Bradshaw, and old Terry need to go over there somewhere and just hush a little bit, Terry. We respect you. We appreciate you. You're an all-time Steeler legend. But you talk about everybody. You didn't get along with Chuck Noll. I mean, you was always fussing and complaining about some, and you got the same amount of interceptions as you do touchdowns, bro. You was led by a historic greatest defense ever. You could drop back and throw the deep ball, and you had Lynn Swann and John Stallworth, both Hall of Famers. Frank O'Hara's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, man. Terry, second best quarterback in Steeler history, but pipe down, bro. Just pipe down. Matter of fact, TB12, the original, we got something for you, man. Just gonna tell you, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
So yeah, let's go to the 2000s real quick. Ferrier is mentioned. Obviously Ben, obviously Hines Ward, obviously Troy, obviously Joey Porter, obviously Faneca, Pouncey, DeCastro, Bussy again, played late 90s and 2000s. Heath. Can't forget about Heath. Gilton's name was brought up. That was G213. Yeah, V4 TB is what I'm getting at. Reg River said the Joker couldn't spell cat. I heard that, man. But, I mean, come on. He got to be able to spell cat, right? I mean, but he's just a good old country Louisiana boy, man. Grew up in them swamps down there, you know. I mean, I don't know if he went to a school for everybody, K through 12, or homeschooled or what. Now, I love Terry Bradshaw, but I don't know. But I'm sure he can spell cat, though, right? But More 2000s. Throw him in there. Kendrell Bell's a good one. He was short-lived, but Kendrell Bell was a beast. V4, definitely a good one. We said Jason Gilden. 213 said that. Big Pun got Plaxico up there. I love Plaxico. Wish we could have kept him. He got more years of Steelers than he does any other team, but he really made his hay with the Giants. He got 2 Super Bowls with the Giants, right? Excuse me. But yeah, I like Plaxico. We said Pouncey, DeCastro, Heath. Help me out here. We know Ben. Ike Taylor. Will we put Ryan Clark on there? We put RC on there? Live chat, y'all tell me. Do RC belong on here? Not that he on the mountain. Can he put his toe on the base of the mountain? RP was an integral part of the Steelers defense that was really great again. Casey Hampton, definitely. We know Troy. We said Ike. Joey Porter. Some of y'all brought up Jason Gilden. What's our dude name that retired abruptly, man? The outside linebacker that retired early. What was his name? Okay. Swag 864 say RC. Hell yeah. Okay. With that. V4 say RC should be in there. I'm with RC being in there for the 2000s. Now, is he a face? No. Is he top mountain? No. Is he mid mountain? No. But he identifies as a Steeler. He had his best years with the Steeler. He's just a Steeler, man. Listen to him talk. Listen to him keep it real. RC is just a Steeler. So gotta agree with that. Who else? Oh, Ryan Shazier. I'll put him on there. Because what? AB, of course. We already named the lineman. We named Heath. LB, Le'Veon Bell, probably the third best running back in Steeler history. I mean, whether we like him or not, third best running back in Steeler history. If he had to just, I don't think Chris Hope was a better player than Ryan Clark. Chris Hope, nah. I like Chris Hope. Chris Hope went to Florida State, right? He could have never just stick with us. Did RC take his position? I mean, I liked Chris Hope, but I liked him from college, though. I don't think he ever was that guy in the league. And we know RC would hit anything moving. Steeler mentality, anything moving. Big G in the building. Big G says, what's Big G say? James Fair has the feet on the base. I can get down with that, Big G. Like I said, he probably third or second best linebacker, middle linebacker. Depending on if you like, we know Lambert's one. So it could, to me, with Fair, it comes down to you like Kirkland better in his prime or you like Fair better in his prime. Depends. I mean, Fair was solid. Fair was a beast. Kirkland was a freak. Kirkland was like 6'2", 280 out there, roaming the middle though. He like having a nose tackle that could drop back and play middle linebacker. We got V4, Big G. Fair was a coach on the field. Yeah, I agree, V4. The homie Mod in the building. Mod say Casey Hampton. Casey Hampton is definitely, shout out to the homie Mod, another know-it-all co-host. Him and Big G both in the building. After shouting out Mod. I mean, they both here. Definitely appreciate you. Oh, good one. Good one. GE213. How you forget about the kickers? I'm arguing with Pay, man, on the homies, man. Maybe backstage. And y'all tap in and get the backstage passes when we set them up and hear some of this stuff they're going. There's some ridiculousness that goes on. Trust me. As the homie Big G would say, diabolical stuff happens backstage. But yeah, arguing with Pay, he say kickers ain't football players, man. Kickers is an important part of the football team. Ask the Cleveland Browns right now. Ask outside the Buffalo Bills, old Norwood missed that field goal. They would have a Super Bowl in their history right now if it wasn't for their kicker. Kickers are football players. Mod and Afton being all cordial with each other out here in the live chat. Hi, Mod. Hi, Afton. How are you? But yeah, shout out to the homies, Mod and Afton. But yeah, so I think we named a lot of them. Okay, so recent, we know we got TJ, Cam Hayward's face is on there. Debo face is on there. Who else face is on there for the current 2000s? Let me go back and take a look. That looks like Debo, Cam, Troy, Ben. If we talking 2000s right now, I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. I think Debo got to be replaced by TJ. I think, but Debo got Super Bowls. Debo got the most historic play in NFL history. I mean, y'all tell me, Elijah, how you feel about Debo and TJ? Yeah. Big Pun said we ought to do a crash out Mount Rushmore. You know, the homie Tate don't crash out too much. I help Big G with it, though. Big G, come up with a crash out Mount Rushmore. You good at crash out anything, so handle that, man. But yeah, so TJ replaces Debo in the 2000s to me. I really think that's the only replacement. I mean, AB, if he had stayed sane, he'd have an argument to be on there. I mean, he wouldn't pass Ben. He wouldn't pass Cam's career is too decorated. He's been there too long. Cam don't got no Super Bowl, though. But none of the Steelers after the 2010s, the last 15, 16 years don't have Super Bowls, so I can't put that in their criteria. But TJ is an all-time great Steeler. In my opinion, maybe the top 5 Steeler defenders all time. Moving up still, though. But top 5 right now. We said Hines Ward. Definitely up on the mountain. Big Pun. Debo face on there. You don't see the graphic. Debo face all up there with his big ass head first. We talked about boxing last week. Debo got a Evander Holyfield head in this camp. Brett Kiesel. He can put his toe on that thing, but we said defensive lineman. He was an integral, valuable part of those 2000s teams, but we talking Mount Rushmore again. That's my disclaimer. Chris Hope was a player that did more with very average physical qualities. Okay, shout out Chris Hope. You got the most out your abilities, your talent. That don't get you on a Steeler Mount Rushmore. It makes you a good Steeler. Got a lot of good Steelers, right? Chris Hope is not better than Troy, Donnie Shell. Carnell Lake was mentioned. I'm still taking Ryan Clark over him. Big G say AB, Holmes, Bell, Mendenhall crash out Mount Rushmore. Hey, Big G, let me see. AB, yeah. Holmes? Who was Holmes? Not Earl Holmes, a linebacker. Who are you talking about? He crashed out? Le'Veon Bell, yeah. Mendenhall, yeah, that fumble. You fumble his way to Super Bowl in Pittsburgh, they're going to get you. Man. The homie Carl in the building, thanks for tapping in with you. Obviously late. If you go back and watch the beginning of the podcast, I say outside of Dan Rooney, me and Joe Green's the one who started it all. He's numero uno on the field. He comes before Chuck Noll. I mean, he laid the foundation. Chuck Noll got the players thanks to Bill Nunn. Chuck Noll coached and developed and led. Shout out to him. He deserves to be on there. While we doing about that, let's talk about the coaches, right? How we feel about Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin. And I got some stuff for the difference between Mike Tomlin and Bill Cowher later tonight. Check out Smash the Gas, me and Big G, just be just us. And anything Big G say diabolical, we're going to put him in the silence house. Shh, don't say a word with the homie Big Pun. V4 called Plaxico a trash dummy. Yeah, but he did that, shot himself in the leg when he got to the bright lights in big city NYC. You know, he wasn't doing that at Permane Brothers in Pittsburgh or, you know, none of the Overlook or no place like that. Them boys got wild out there in NYC, though. So we ain't taking credit for that. All right, let me tell y'all mine real quick, and you can put yours in the live chat. We'll read off the ones we got time for. We're trying to get out here in about the next 5 or 6 minutes. Let me take a sip real quick. Excuse me and thank you. Well, what's B4 saying? Yens have since turned Coward into a saint. They couldn't stand Coward while he was coaching. Now he's royalty. V4. Man, you already know what that is. You already know.
That's the fact, Jack. That's the fact, Jack.
Hopefully the same thing happens with Mike Tomlin because you're definitely underappreciated when you're in the midst of doing it. And I got some stuff to talk about tonight as far as album go. There's Dresden in the building. Boys got wild and various other childish slang. Not sure what you're referring to as Dresden. Hook us up with the plain English part of it. Oh, Pun deep in his bag again. Dick LeBeau. Good one. We sleep on D coordinators. He's a Hall of Famer. Oh, he's all up on the mountain too, Pun. All up on the mountain. Man, Pun is on a roll today. Wow. Never seen it like 3 times in one show. Maybe once. 3 times for Pun? Shout out, bruh. But yeah, man. So finishing up, let me tell you my Mount Rushmore. And really, so many choices, right? Mount Rushmore boils down to me, to your favorite, right? Who do you pick to be on the Steelers Mount Rushmore? Mine starts with 7. Ben Roethlisberger. As much as a diva as my boy is, as, you know, crash out, he was too, right? Motorcycles all off. Whatever the stuff he is into when he is younger, he's a I won't say change. He's a mature man now, as a family man. So shout out to 7. Appreciate you, 7. Probably, arguably, behind Mean Joe Green, second best Steeler all time. What you think about that? 7, I probably say, man, see, always put, this is no order. I'm just naming my 4. Rod Woodson, this is mine. Not saying they the best. There's so many to choose from. Because I could go Mean Joe Green easy. I could go some of those guys. I'm going to go 7, Rod Woodson. I'm going to go my favorite again, probably the second or third best receiver in Steelers history, Lynn Swann. So I got 7, Woodson, Swann. That's 1 from each era. And y'all going to be mad at me for this one. Okay. Oh, Afton got a good one. You can't go wrong with that one, Afton. Hines, Debo, Troy, and Bettis. All Steelers through and through. Steeler character, Steeler DNA. Probably you cut them jokers, they probably bleeding black and gold. So that's a great list. Your list probably better than mine. And you said favorites. So I think on the field, your favorite's probably better than mine. Is Hines Ward better than Lynn Swann? Hines Ward did it longer. Lynn Swann got out quick because he was getting concussions before they said concussions was really a thing, right? They was lighting Lynn Swann ass up back in the day. But both got, I believe, Super Bowl MVPs. Lynn and Hines. Think about that. Santonio Holmes, too. So 3 to still 6 Super Bowls. We talking about wide receivers. Ben didn't get no Super Bowl MVP, did he? Hines Ward got the first one. Santonio Holmes got the second one. I think Ben should have got the second one, but still, just receivers. Swan, Santonio, Hines Ward. 3 of the 6 Super Bowls. So I got, y'all be mad at my last one. 7, Woodson. Who did I just say third? Swan. 213 says better. I don't think when they played together he was better. I think John Stallworth, the all-time Steeler great, and I take nothing away from John or Curb's family. But when they was on the field together, Lynn was the guy. Defense was gunning in Lynn. Now, did Stallworth keep going after Lynn left and continue to add to his resume? Yes, he did. All-time great Steeler, but I don't have him being better than Lynn Swann. But there's a discussion there. Matter of IMO, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But so my fourth one, y'all gonna contest, y'all gonna debate me, y'all gonna argue me. But I'm gonna say, just listen to the thing that the players say. Ever since 2007. Put Mike Tomlin on mine, right? And that's 3 coaches in the Hall of Fame. No Coward, Tomlin. I don't think it's ever been done where back-to-back coaches all going to be Hall of Famers. But so for my Mount Rushmore, Afton had a great one. Pun got Joe Green, Franco, Big Ben, and Woodson. Okay. It's a great one, too. King, never go on Mean Joe. Big Ben, top 2 Steelers all time. And I didn't put either one. I did put 7 on mine. I didn't put both of them on mine, though. But I got Woodson. So we got 2. Franco, I can respect that. Afton, so far, yours is the best to me. And Afton's was Hines, Debo, Troy, and Bussy. But yeah, this is always up for debate. This will always be a thing. As long as you have a great franchise with great players, great history, great legacy, and tied for the most league championships in history, there's always a discussion to be had. So with that being said, we're going to tap on out of here. Y'all be sure to tap in this evening to smash the gas, and then again, pump your brakes with myself, Big G, the Triple OG Shannon White, and special guest Dave Stefano from First and Skull, Minnesota Vikings Kickoff. That's a FFSN podcast. We're going to talk about the matchup tonight. We're going to talk about Ireland. You know, we got a leprechaun football player up there, some Guinness, right? Y'all think Guinness is a good beer? Think about that. Let me know tonight when we back on. And until then, everybody, for Tate Strong Take Wednesday afternoon, we out. Holla at you.
Let's go.
Mamba out.
Y'all come back now. Here.